Today we're working on the 87 F250 again. F350, my mistake, because as you can see it is a dually. Has the 460 big block in it. I already started doing a Fitech fuel injection swap on it, but when you do that you can't use the factory kickdown rod for the C6 trans that's in this. So what you have to do is you have to go and buy a cable from, I think Locar makes them, or you can get them on eBay, and replace that. So that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. And I already took the rod out, so I'm just trying to figure out how to set this cable up, and then we'll see if that works. And then I still have to put the O2 sensor in and the coolant line, so I'm waiting for a couple things. I'm waiting for a inline fitting that I'm going to put in this hose for the coolant temp sensor, and then this I guess got to run down the side here and put it in the exhaust. So I need to get underneath to set up that cable, and it's a little tight under there, so I'm going to jack it up, put on some jack stands, and get under there and try and figure out how this thing works, because I don't really know the routing of the cable and whatnot, so it's gonna be interesting. Not going nowhere. See what I'm doing here? I got, I don't know if you can see that. So I took the bolt out here, and I'm trying to get this rod off so I can put the new piece on. Get that off. I got this piece off. Here's your new cable end. I'm guessing that this probably bolts into the trans pan or something. I'm not really sure. Maybe it bolts into that hole up there. I don't really know. I guess that would work if it went there. So take that off. zip tie out of here. Broken zip tie. Get that out. And then I don't know if that'll work because it's got to go. It's got to go that way. I don't know if that'll work. As it goes. This way from here. That's what happens when you buy cheap stuff off of eBay. Doesn't always work how it's supposed to. Oh wait, no, that'll work. I think. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, because then this will go up here. And pull from there. Didn't give me enough slack on this side. Alright, I got myself more slack. It's probably way too much slack. But now I can at least figure this out. This has got to go this way. Like that. And my hook and my washer down there. Put this on. And then take my impact gun. It helps if it's set the right way. There, so this is gonna have to pull it up. I don't like that. Then I'm gonna put this here, I guess. Like that. Gonna go like that. I just don't know. I'm just not following how this is supposed to be set up. It's gotta be like that. Or down here, but that wouldn't make any sense. It's gotta be there. Because your only other option what would your only other option be? Bolt for this, but not for that. Let's bolt. That's why I hate working on the ground. I need a lift. There's that. Up this. changed my approach angle. So I came from the side this time instead of from the front, because I figured that might make it a little easier. It's most likely not going to make it easier. It's going to make it about the same, but we can pretend like it helped. This wire. This is inconvenient. This is like the most inconvenient wire. I need it up here. Alright, I got the bottom all set up for the most part. Now I gotta set the top up and figure out how to attach that to the factory bracket. So that might take a minute, but I think I see how I'm gonna do it. So let's get to it. Ooh, that didn't sound good. It's wasps. Look at that guy. Flew right into the side of my face. Let's see the nest right there. Well, I almost just died. That's good. It's wasps in that door. I opened it so I could get this. This is the O2 sensor mount. So basically what it does is you have this piece here that the O2 would screw into, and then this is a gasket. It goes there. You mark your hole. More bees. And then you hose clamp it onto the exhaust, and that works perfectly fine. Now I'm scared there's bees everywhere, but that works perfectly fine. I did it on the last Fitech system I set up on that 70 Chevelle, so that's what I'm going to do on this, because it doesn't need to be welded on. Alright, as you can see, we have our oxygen sensor ran down here, and the Fitech says to put it 2 to 6 inches from the collector. So there's your collector here. And if you had headers, it'd be, depending on that, if you had long tubes or whatever, it could be down this far, but the collector's here. So 2 to 6 inches puts you about like right here. So the other thing they say is if you put it in, you don't want it more than 90 degrees from straight up and down. So ideally they like it straight up and down like this, but obviously I can't put that here, that on this pipe. So I put it here, but I don't like that because that's a little bit more than 90. So I'm going to put it on this side, down here a little bit, so it's out of the way of the shift linkage and whatnot, and then I'll figure out how to route the wires out of the way as well. So I'm going to mark it with my Sharpie right here, and that should be good. And the other thing you want to do is take your new O2 sensor bung and take your step drill bit and just go like that and see where it goes to. This is going to go to, I can't read that, but if you can't read it, you can always mark it. Okay. You can see I marked it, and then you're just gonna take your drill, move all your stuff out of your way so you don't get a little tangled. And mind you, I'm laying on the ground, so this isn't the easiest thing to do. Hot metal. Hot metal flying around. Oh yeah. Alright, stay up there. Come on. We got one more hole. Alright, so there's your hole. Of course, I don't know, my battery wasn't dead, but it seems like it was. And that's going to go on there like that with the gasket. So you get the gasket. And then we'll take our hose clamps. Most of the time, hose clamps like this are either an 8mm or a 5/16, which is what I'm using. It's 5/16. It just makes it easier instead of using a screwdriver. You can use a screwdriver if you prefer, but sometimes it makes it easier to work with it using a socket. And there goes my bag. So push that in there. I'll probably tighten this down a little more. Got that tightened down pretty good. I'll bring this up. lined up with the hole. Bring the other one up. Same thing. Get that on there. We'll turn these around this way so that they're not going to interfere at all. Alright, now just hold that in place. Don't pinch your fingers. Okay, there's that. And after everything's tight, check to see if your O2 sensor fits. You can do it before, which would make sense as well. And look at that, it fits. Now I gotta get this plug unplugged so I can put it in there. Take our little cap off. And thread it in. Like that, and then you take your, where's my socket? Don't tell me I left my socket out there. That's right. I get this sweet O2 sensor socket. It's made by Gear Wrench. There's a number on it. It is 3922D. I don't know if you can see that. Right there. But this has gotten me out of a lot of sticky situations because it goes right over the top like this, and you can get your ratchet directly in line with the threads instead of being offset like your standard O2 sensor socket would be. You can get a lot more leverage on it. So you don't need to go crazy tightening this. It's just, you know, snug it up. And then you can run your wires however you need to keep them away from the shifter. Now, if you're doing this on your own truck, you don't have to put it here. You can put it on the passenger side, or you can put it in a different angle, but this is the way that I chose. So I'll just have to run my wires around everything, which isn't a big deal. I'll plug this back in. I'll probably pull them up top so that this is a little bit tighter down here on the bottom. Or run them up here this way. Get a zip tie on that right there to zip tie it. You know, just so it, you know, zip tie it right there. That'll be good. And then we'll pull it up the top. But you know, you can trim these, but just be careful if you do, because then they end up being really sharp. We finished everything underneath. Got the O2 sensor installed. Got the kickdown cable mounted to the transmission. I'm going to finish mounting the kickdown cable to the throttle body and adjust that, and then I'm going to call it a day. So as you can see, I got Fitech throttle body installed a while ago, and we have our factory throttle cable with the cruise control, which I have no idea if that works, but it's there. It's got this, I don't know, this chain thing they have for like a fan, it looks like, but that's factory. And then we got our kickdown cable down here with the bracket that's got a mount to the bottom down here. And then I just got to make the adjustment there, and hopefully it's correct. because there's not really any information on how to adjust a kickdown cable on a C6 trans. So if anybody has any tips or pointers on how to adjust that correctly, please leave them in the comments below. That'd be very helpful. So I'm not getting that out. I'd like to get that out. And a pair of pliers. And before I put this in, I'm going to go and grab the wrenches that I need, instead of trying to figure it out after I put it together. So I'm running the cable on the inside, so that this is going to mount this way, not this way. I don't know if you can see that. It's going to mount from the inside and pull it, instead of from the outside like you would normally think, just because that's how it lines up. If you're doing a different type of setup, yours may mount the opposite way that I'm mounting mine, but it's still the same idea. Shorter wrench. Sometimes you need another hand. You know what? Most humans only have 2 hands, but I got a foot. So I'm going to do this and that. That really hurts my knee. So I'm going to nail on something else. Tight. Alright, and then we'll just clip that a little long for now, just in case it needs to be adjusted. That's pretty much it. That's setting up the kickdown cable. Put no 2 sensor in. The only thing left is I need to mount, or I need to install this, but I'm waiting on a fitting that goes in the upper radiator hose, and then I need to mount this because it's just kind of laying in there. I have the brackets on the back. I just got to figure out how to get them installed.